It's judicial terrorism. That's the way to think of a recent decision from the D.C. Circuit Court in Washington. A group of petitioners, including the Sierra Club, challenged regulatory approvals for two liquefied natural gas or LNG terminals. One is the Rio Grande terminal being built by NextDecade. We're investors in NextDecade. The petitioners complained that the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, or FERC, didn't comply with the law in approving these terminals. NextDecade is not a defendant in this case. FERC, a U.S. federal regulator, is. FERC has approved the terminals. Billions of dollars have been committed. Construction has begun. And yet a judge has issued a stay on elements of the approval in response to the lawsuit. LNG is needed to help developing countries increase their living standards while reducing their CO2 emissions. It allows them to generate power with less reliance on coal. You get about half the greenhouse gas emissions from natural gas compared with coal. It's the biggest source of reduced emissions in America. When we export LNG to developing countries in Asia, South America, and elsewhere, we're helping fight climate change. The Sierra Club has a completely impractical, purist attitude that believes the whole world can run on solar and wind, that there's no place for nuclear power, that the world should simply use less energy. The Sierra Club is against lifting poorer people out of poverty, of making clean water, better hygiene, and air conditioning available to people in emerging countries. The Sierra Club is against human development. They are against people. As an investor in LNG export terminals, we are doing far more to help lift people out of poverty than the Sierra Club. We're doing more than them to fight climate change. We are standing on the moral high ground on this issue in supporting natural gas as the most effective way to provide energy while lowering CO2 emissions by displacing coal. The Sierra Club is on the other side, opposed to humanity. The Sierra Club is an example of progressive left-wing policies run amok. But taking a step back from these weird extremists whose policies are anti-people, let's look at the legal case. The D.C. court requires another environmental impact statement from FERC because, in part, it didn't properly analyze the project's impact on environmental justice. Among the problems was that some communities would suffer, and I quote, significant visual impact, close quotes. Their view will be spoiled. Bear in mind that this is a view of the Houston Ship Channel, the busiest corridor for energy shipping in the U.S. If you live near the Houston Ship Channel, you presumably know this, and perhaps you already work there. So as with Mountain Valley Pipeline, the company has obtained approvals from its regulator and started construction. People have been hired, materials bought, and a court sees fit to try and stop the project. Climate extremists, who are weird, are trying to achieve through misusing the court system what they've been unable to get democratically. If your permits can be overturned long after they've been issued, the cost of building everything will go up because nobody will be able to rely on the government to approve what only they can approve. This will harm solar and wind more than anything because renewables need enormous investments in infrastructure. Climate extremists like the Sierra Club are trying to impose their anti-human values on the world. We won't build anything in this country if climate weirdos can always find a cooperative judge. America is a better country than that. We need a better system and the end of judicial terrorism by the Sierra Club. If you're interested in learning more about the energy sector and interest rates, then don't forget to subscribe and follow us on LinkedIn and Twitter. Our handles are in the description box below. To find out more about what we're thinking, you can sign up for our twice-weekly blog at sl-advisors.com. We always love to hear from you, so if you have any comments or blog ideas, please leave them down below. I'm Simon Lack. Thank you for watching this video.